You have a neighbor that you've known for years. Let's call him Mark. Nice, quiet, normal, almost forgettable. But a few weeks ago, this storm rolls through, branches snapping everywhere, damaging people's property, AC units breaking down, and a tree limb comes down hard and destroys his central air conditioning unit. And you're thinking, oh man, that's painful. That's a five-figure problem. But Mark looks at it, pulls out his phone, makes one phone call, and goes back inside like he just ordered pizza. No panic, no stress, no, I'm gonna have to put this on a credit card, just calm. And that was the first crack in the illusion because most millionaires don't look like millionaires. They're not wearing loud brands, they're not leasing exotic cars, they're not posting receipts and flexing trips. True wealth doesn't scream, it whispers. And once you know what to listen for, you'll start seeing it everywhere. And today I'm breaking down 7 signs that someone is secretly wealthy, and more importantly, how you can copy these habits to build real wealth yourself. Before we start, this isn't about judging people. It's not about obsessing over strangers' finances. This is about recognizing patterns because patterns reveal principles. And if you can identify the behaviors that quietly build wealth, you can start adopting them without needing a massive income. All right, sign number 1. Let's get into it. The first clue isn't what secretly wealthy people do. It's what they don't do. They avoid talking about the 3 E's. First is earn. Think about how people talk today. Some people lead with income like it's their personality. I made 10K this month. I'm a 6-figure guy. I just got a huge bonus. And listen, there's nothing wrong with doing it, and I've done it as well. But when someone needs you to know, it often signals insecurity, not stability. Secretly wealthy people rarely discuss their earnings because they understand what it does to a relationship. Once someone knows you make a lot, they treat you differently. Suddenly, it's subtle envy, weird expectations, people asking for favors, nonstop family emergencies. You can afford it. Come on, let me borrow some money, right? So they become experts at deflection. At the neighborhood barbecue, someone asks Mark what he does for work. He smiles and goes, oh, I'm in tech space, boring computer stuff. Then pivots instantly. Hey, Bill, how's that mountain trip go? Smooth, no awkwardness, spotlight gone. That's not an accident, that's practiced. Second, expensive. The secret wealthy don't talk about price tags. If you say that look expensive, they don't respond, yeah, it was $8,000. They'll say, oh, this old thing had it forever. Or I just like the design. They strip the object of its monetary value because price talk is status talk. And status talk attracts the wrong energy. Third, excess. Secretly wealthy people don't usually broadcast excess. You won't hear them constantly describing luxury vacation, VIP access, first class flights. If they travel, it's, oh, we went away for a bit. Why? Because real wealth is freedom, not performance. And people who are actually secure don't need applauses. If someone talks nonstop about income, expensive items, and living large, there's a good chance they're just financing a lifestyle. But the quietly wealthy, they don't need to prove anything. They already know. Now, once you notice that conversational camouflage, you start noticing other contradictions, like their car. Mark drives a 10-year-old Toyota Camry, clean, maintained, totally unremarkable. And that stands out because if you can replace an AC unit without blinking, why not upgrade the car? Because the secretly wealthy people don't see cars the way most people do. Most people view cars as an identity. This says I've made it. Secretly wealthy people view cars as math. This either helps my wealth or drains it. A new car loses value brutally fast. That depreciation is basically a hidden bill that you pay for attention. And here's the real kicker. A lot of nice cars you see are not signs of wealth. They're signs of payments. The quietly wealthy often choose older, proven models, lower insurance, fewer repairs, and most importantly, no payment. Now let's put real numbers to it. Let's say someone has a $800 car payment. If instead they invested that $800 at a reasonable long-term return over 10 years, you're looking at over $100,000. Over 20 years, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how wealth quietly builds. They'd rather drive something boring and own freedom than drive something flashy and owe the bank. Now, here's where people get confused because the secretly wealthy aren't cheap. They spend money, just not in normal ways. One day you see a plain white van in Mark's driveway. A woman unloads grocery bags, takes them inside, and leaves. You see it again next week. It's a meal prep personnel shopping service. And that seems weird because old Camry, but paid services like that. Here's the secret. Secret wealthy people spend money on things that increase quality of life, not social statuses. Two big categories. A, buying time back. Time is the only asset that you can't compound. So wealthy people outsource low value tasks like cleaning, lawn care, meal prep, errands, scheduling, admin work, not because they're lazy, because it's rational. If your time is worth $200 an hour and you're doing a $20 an hour task all weekend, you're paying a huge invisible cost. Even if you're not rich yet, you can start copying this mindset by asking, what's the best use of my time? Because wealth often comes from focus. B, rare, personal, and sometimes appreciating hobbies. The quietly wealthy often enjoys hobbies most people don't understand. Art, collectibles, memorabilia, rare items, wine, niche investing. But the key difference is they're not doing it for applause, they're doing it because it's interesting. And sometimes those things hold value or appreciate. They aren't trying to keep up with the Joneses, they're trying to be uncomparable. Now, if you're spending like this, quietly, you also become aware of something else, people's reaction. Secretly wealthy people manage their image like a security system because they understand something most people learn the hard way. Visibility increases vulnerability. If people think you have money, you become a target for scams, a target for lawsuit, a target for resentment, a target for can you help me out? So they cultivate a low profile persona. Mark wears simple clothes, unbranded, functional, same jacket for years. And here's what's interesting. Sometimes the quietly wealthy buy high quality items that looks normal. A $300 sweater that looks like a $30 sweater. No logo, no flex, just some random name that you won't even know about. Because the quietly wealthy values comfort, durability, and simplicity, not attention. And when asked about money, they give vague answers. I've done it right. I've been fortunate. I'm comfortable. I've even heard stories of ultra wealthy people calling themselves poor because compared to their billionaire friends, they feel small. Wealth is relative in every circle, which is why truly wealthy people stop playing the comparison game publicly. Now, here's the one that messes with people the most, because you'll see a secretly wealthy person be frugal over something tiny, then pay something massive without hesitation. You see Mark at a farmer's market. He's haggling over tomatoes, $1 saving. And you're like, wait, wasn't this the same guy who didn't flinch over a 5-figure AC replacement? Yes, and that's the point. Secretly wealthy people practice selective frugality. They don't hate spending money, they hate waste. Why they obsess over small purchases? Because small purchases are recurring and easy to ignore. It's the death by 1,000 cuts problem. Subscriptions you forgot about, daily convenience spending, little lifestyle upgrades, random Amazon buys. A $5 habit doesn't feel like much until it becomes $150 a month, then eventually $1,800 a year, then a decade of compounding that you never got. Quietly wealthy people plug leaks because leaks destroy cash flow. Why they pay big necessary expenses without panic? Because necessities protect assets. Roof replacement, necessary. AC replacement, necessary. They don't emotionally melt down over it because they plan for it. They have reserves. They understand maintenance is part of ownership. So they stay disciplined on the small stuff, so big stuff doesn't control them. And this discipline leads to the most powerful wealth building skill of all, waiting. You mentioned you're thinking about buying a new high-end grill. Mark goes, oh yeah, I researched those for 3 months last year. You ask which one he bought. He says, honestly, I left it in my cart for a month, then realized I didn't even need it. That's the skill, delayed gratification. In a world designed to trigger impulse buying, this is a superpower. Most people buy based on emotion, stress spending, celebration spending, boredom spending, insecurity spending. Secretly wealthy people create a gap between desire and action. A simple rule that you can copy: if it's not a necessity, wait 7 to 30 days. You'll be shocked how often you stop wanting it. And here's the deepest part. Every time you delay gratification, you strengthen the identity of, I'm not controlled by impulses. That identity is where wealth is built. And now, we get to the biggest one, the sign that quietly wealthy people are playing a totally different game: their house. Mark's house is nice, but it's not the biggest in the neighborhood. It's not a mansion. It's not screaming status. And now you realize that house isn't a limitation. It's a strategy. For most people, the house is an ultimate flex. For secretly wealthy people, the house is the ultimate freedom tool. Because buying too much house is how people become house rich and cash poor. A bigger house comes with a higher mortgage payment, higher taxes, higher insurance, higher utilities, higher maintenance, higher pressure to match the neighborhood. And then the quietly wealthy people avoid that trap. Many pay off homes aggressively. Some own them outright, not because they can't upgrade, because they don't need to. They rather have low fixed cost, high cash flow, maximum options. This is why stealth wealth is so powerful. They can choose, they can handle surprises, they can walk away from jobs they hate, they can invest consistently, and they can breathe. So you finally understand what's happening. Mark wasn't ordinary, he was invisible by design. The old car, the modest house, the silence about income, the calm in the storm while others freaking out, those weren't signs of struggle. They were signs of control. And here's the lesson. Our culture celebrates loud wealth, but loud wealth is often rented. Quiet wealth is owned. Most people try to look rich. The wealthy tries to stay free. If you want to build this kind of wealth, start here. Stop talking about money like it's your identity. Kill payments, especially car payments. Buy back time in small ways. Understate and don't overstimulate. Audit recurring spending, plug leaks. Using a waiting rule for wants. Keeping housing reasonable and protecting cash flow. Do that consistently and the wealth won't just grow, it'll become inevitable. There are levels to wealth. Level 1, you cut your own grass because you have no money. Level 2, you pay someone to cut it because you have money. Level 3, you cut it again because now you have the time and you have the wealth. And that's real wealth, and that's real freedom. And the funniest part, the wealthiest person on your block might be the one that you never suspect.